Kingwood. So he knew the way out here. I tend to get lost in Houston, and I probably still wouldn't be here if it was up to me. I'm a Southern Baptist, so I can talk for 10 minutes or 3 hours. Which is it?
It's up to you. It's your choice.
We'll just take a few minutes. Just talk a little bit about faith.
Yeah.
I grew up in, as I said, in a small town, Cameron, Texas. I had the two finest Christian parents. Anybody have Christian parents? I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. And I had two older sisters. And in the early part of my life, my mother was the dominating influence. My dad was busy in business, certainly spent a lot of time with my sisters and I. But my mother constantly was giving us direction. Anybody suffer through that too? She had one thing that she must have said 5,000 times to my two sisters and myself. And she said, the most important thing in life is your Christian faith, your belief in the Lord Jesus Christ. She said, the second thing that's the most important thing in your life after your faith is your love and your joy of your extended family. Hang on to it. Said the third one will totally, completely dictate your life. And she said, that's who you select to be your friends. And said, choose them wisely and it'll lift you up. Make bad choices, it'll pull you down. Well, as I grew up in that small town, I didn't know it, but my mother had spies all over the place. And this was in the late 40s and 50s. That was before we had big family rooms. And you sat in your mother's and dad's bedroom, and my mother had two rocking chairs. And I spent many an hour in the rocking chair, kind of punishment. And she would tell me about poor choices I was making. And I did make some poor choices. We liked the glamour and the excitement sometimes. And I was making poor choices. And she was talking to me about that. Went over the top of my head. When I was 18, graduated from high school, couldn't wait. Went to Baylor, 70 miles up the road. Thought, I'm done with this. I remember when I went to Baylor in September that first year, and I came back about 6 or 8 weeks after that. You remember that when you went home to see your parents? Yeah. My mother welcomed me home. She said, please sit in the chair. I want you to tell me about all your new friends. So I had to tell her about my friends throughout my life. I had to continue to, and it began to dawn on me what she was trying to say to me. Said it over and over, I think, at least 5,000 times. Then in my adult life, as I was in business, had my own family, and I would drive to Cameron and see my mother and dad. I still had to sit down and talk to her. She was 89 years old. She was in Scott and White Hospital in Temple, big hospital system, and she was near death. And I remember one Sunday afternoon, I was out talking to her, and I was holding her hand, and she said again, tell me about some of your new friends. Wow. So the challenge I will give to you and to each of us, whatever age we are, carefully select your friends. They influence us in a powerful, powerful way, and they can lift us up. So select people that have quality, have integrity, and want to go somewhere, and are not these negative people. You say, what's so good about your broadcast? You're uplifting. So I think that's one of the things that's been important to me as we have gone through life. If just thinking about our faith and leadership, I think the most fascinating thing is I've been in business 52 years, been in the grocery distribution business and a number of other businesses, the technology business, baseball business, a number of business, and people say to me, baseball must be fun. I say, yeah, baseball is interesting. It really is. It's association with people, trying to win. But the most fascinating thing in life is leadership. You got one right here. You got a leader. And why is it that only about 6 to 8% of the people really provide leadership? 6 to 8%. 90, 92% are good people. They're just not true leaders. And it's so easy to be a leader and to provide. my thoughts, they asked me a question on the air a while ago, what's your real goal in life? And I was taught by my parents again, that as you live your life in stages, whatever you're doing, make it better. Make it a better place for others. Don't be a taker. Isn't that what's wrong in our society? Entitlements. Think the world owes us something. They don't really owe us anything. But make it better, make it possible for others, and take leadership. But if you'll think through leadership, I think we don't really understand our personal responsibility. Many things we have, and I have 2 sons and 5 grandsons, and the oldest grandson was 7, one of them was 6, and my wife told me, you're going to have to reserve this night. He lives in Salado, which is south of Temple, and he was graduating from kindergarten. She said, you're got to go to his graduation at 6. Went down to Salado School. They marched in cap and gown. Can you believe that? And they gave them each a diploma. I thought, oh, they're just suckering in the parents. We get the group from kindergarten to older assignment. And I think we fail to realize our real goal, given to us by God, is individual. Got to make a difference. In 1993, it was the first year that our family owned the Houston Astros, and I got to confess, I told them a while ago, I'd been to 3 Major League games my entire life. Anybody ever gotten into something you didn't have a clue for? But through training and leadership and experience, you don't have to have all the answers. Just represent integrity, honesty. Listen to others. Learn from others. Set lofty goals. So I went to the first spring training. Never been to spring training. Trained in Kissimmee, Florida. Art Howe was the manager. And I said to Art, you know, there are only 25 players. John, does that mean we got to go? John,
we got about 5, yeah.
5 minutes, and we're out of here. John can fire me. Aggies usually try to take control. So I said to Art Howe, I said, there are only 25 players, a manager, 5 coaches. I've never done anything in my adult life that I didn't get to know everybody, and we set goals and we understand each other. I said, when we finish practice today, bring them in a room that I'd like to talk to them. A little room like this. I started talking to them, and I was giving them my best leadership talk I can give. Teamwork. Remember in high school? Working together, win together. And I was giving them just the most ferocious talk I could give. Tell me, have you ever talked to a group and pretty quick you figured out you were connecting any degree to them? I looked out there, these 25 players. Half were looking straight down, other half were looking straight up. One of the players, his name was Mark Portugal, he was kind of different. He had a stocking cap completely pulled over his head. I've never seen a reaction like that. So I talked to him about teamwork. We want to be champions, work together, win together. Gave him about 10 or 15 minutes of that, and I could tell it was a disaster. They tuned me out instantly. So I quickly ended it. And Art Howe came up to me later and said, Drayton, I had no idea what you were trying to do, but it did work. And I said, well, I'm well aware of that. And he said, when we get back to the Astrodome in the first of the season, let's do it again. I said, great. I guess he thought I was going to learn or get better or something. So after 2 games, before the 3rd game, we brought them back together again in a room like this. Didn't learn from the first one. I first started talking to them about teamwork, working together, being a champion. Same lousy results. So, ended that one in a shorter period of time. So Art said, why don't you come in my office? I'd like to talk to you. It shows we can all learn if we pay attention. got in there, he said, I'll tell you again, I have no idea what you're talking about, but it doesn't work. And he said, I'd like to point out a couple of things. He said, you have spent that entire time talking to those young men about teamwork and winning together. He said, I hate to tell you this, but baseball is not teamwork. Well, I was devastated. I played in high school and played other sports. Remember, Coach? And when you lost, you cried. And your buddies. I was devastated. He said, it's not teamwork. It doesn't have anything to do with teamwork. I was devastated, as you are. I said, Art, if it's not teamwork, what is it? He said something that really helped me be a better person and a better leader. He said, baseball is an individual sport that teams play. Individual sport that teams play. He said, if you're the third baseman, that ball's hit at you, it's going to come at you at 250 miles an hour. You're on your own. Said, this is not basketball, hockey, football, where everybody's jammed together.
Wow.
There's nobody within 90 feet of it. Or if you hit it to the center field, he's 400 feet out there by himself. Can't even see him. It's an individual sport that teams play. He said the real deal is between two people, between the pitcher and the hitter. Watch that as we play tonight. Watch the pitcher is looking into the catcher, but he's really trying to outthink Albert Pujols. And Albert Pujols is trying to think, well, he's thrown me 2 straight curveballs. He's going to throw me a fastball. They're trying to outthink it. It's a mental contest. And all the other players are over on their knees saying, don't hit it to me. You're not involved. You're not involved. This is between the pitcher and Albert. Individual sport that teams play. And then he said, can I tell you something else why they have no clue what you're talking about? He said from the time they were 6 years old playing Little League to here, they got to the major leagues not because their team won, but what their personal statistics were. That doesn't have anything to do. We just did the draft. We drafted a young man from the University of Connecticut named George Springer. I couldn't tell you anything about the University of Connecticut team, could you? But we know everything about his individual statistics from the time he was a sophomore in high school. He's a junior in college now. We have no idea what his high school team won, his college team won. He said it's an individual sport that teams play. And he said the other reason they don't understand, they got here by what their personal statistics were, not what the team was. So he said, you're talking to them about teamwork, working together, but he said, you got to talk to them about assuming individual responsibility. Then you win. Well, then I started talking to them again, and I started clicking. That's what they understood. But I learned, managed a lot of people over the years, but I learned a lot from that. As you talk to people, talk to them about their responsibility. Don't we all get covered up as a team? We can mess up, and then somebody else covers up for us. We don't assume personal responsibility. That's what winners do. They take personal responsibility for the sport. And our thought is, what you all represent is a Christian radio station. Isn't that what a Christian does? You can go to church 7 days a week and then make you a good Christian. You can have a great church environment, can be helpful. But it's how you live. And just pick up the Chronicle, watch the news, what good people do dumb things. Just had the congressman in New York. Isn't that amazing? Utterly amazing. What are they thinking about? But he's not the first one. And these are all good people, basically. Why do they do things? Personal responsibility. So that's one of the greatest things I've learned from 19 years with the Astros. We get covered up in teams. I've talked in other bigger businesses we've had, and we talked about the team, and I've changed my thoughts, and I learned from these players. John will But one other is everything I've ever tried to do in life, my parents held me accountable. We tried to be in the 95 percentile. This young man right here, he told me he was a CPA. I've done a lot of hard things in life, but wasn't intermediate accounting about the worst thing you could
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else ever took intermediate accounting. Gee, that was the worst experience of my life. And weren't the women in the class the smartest ones?
I know, same too, same way. Yeah.
Well, anyway, in life, as we go through and we do things, don't let discouragement bother you. And I've learned by being in baseball, play 162 games. In school and everything else, we try to be in the 95 percentile. But in baseball, if you win 67% of your games, you win your division. It's that competitive. It's that up and down and up and down in baseball because you play so many games. And if you can hit 320, bat 320, hit about 35 home runs, drive in 130, 40 RBIs, we'll pay you $18 million. Anybody want to go with me? That's why Albert Pujols is a free agent after this year, and they say his new contract will be between 25 and 30 million. But he can do what you can't do and I can't do. He can get it out. He has that God-given talent. But it's discouraging. But I said you got to hit 320. What that really means, for every 10 times you come to bat, you're going to fail 7. Baseball is loaded with failure. That Nolan Ryan's probably one of the best players ever in the history of the game. And after I think it was 24 years, John, something like that, that he pitched, he only won 19 more games than he lost. Not losing. We get so discouraged in life when things don't go our way. So my encouragement to you is what I learned again the first year. I remember the first year on the team in April, we had a tough loss. We lost the game in the 9th inning, and I was devastated. And I was going to go in the clubhouse, and I thought the players would be crying and, you know, just devastated. Went there, they had jive-ish music going on. They were having fun with each other, and I thought, what in the world is going on in here? So I went up to Jeff Bagwell, and I said, what is happening in here? We just lost in the bottom of the 9th. He said, what's your problem? And I said, we lost the game. He said, forget it. It's over. And in less than 24 hours, we're going to be playing again. And if we focus on that loss in the 9th inning, it's going to make us lose again tomorrow. They have the best ability to just wipe out their memory. Baseball players do. They strike out in the 9th inning, or our pitcher, Myers, did something I'd never seen before. In the 5th inning, he had the bases. He walked the number 8 hitter to get to their pitcher. Their pitcher had played in the major leagues 7 years, in the American League most of the time. He had 3 RBIs in the entire 7 years. He had a bases loaded. Guess what he got? He hit a double and scored all 3. He doubled his RBIs in one swing. And Brett Myers get down on that? No, because in 5 days you got to do it again. I've learned a great deal watching those. They don't dwell on their mistakes. They move forward for tomorrow. And they said, hey, we got to do it again tomorrow. So as we live our Christian lives, we're involved with our family, our friends, and others, the optimism to lift people up and just live a good life. Thanks for letting